Hello everyone on the French Tax Online channel, the only channel that allows you to understand French taxation simply and with a bit of fun. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit. Today, we're going to tackle a crucial topic for many: what you need to know and the pitfalls to avoid when acquiring real estate in France. I decided to make this video because I realized through my professional journey that many people, especially non-residents, make significant mistakes when purchasing property in France and pay the price dearly upon resale. If you want to avoid all these pitfalls, stay with us. Let's get started. There are several major topics to address when discussing real estate acquisition: the legal structure of the acquisition, transmission, capital gains upon resale, taxes and fees arising from ownership, tax regime and its consequences in case of rental, and the specific case of new purchases with recoverable VAT. As you can imagine, each topic could be the subject of a lengthy video, so today we'll just alert you to the various possibilities and their consequences. The legal structure of the acquisition. If you are watching this video, chances are you're researching for a potential real estate acquisition in France and you already have an idea of what this chapter will be. You might even skip ahead in the video because you know you want an SCI, Société Civile Immobilière, as your neighbor or the notary has told you this is the best for you. Spoiler alert, this is not necessarily a genius idea. Indeed, the legal structure of a real estate purchase will have consequences throughout the ownership of the property, especially upon resale. Several options are available to you: purchasing in your own name or jointly if there are many buyers involved, a company subject to income tax IR, SCLIR, SARL de famille, SNC, a company subject to corporate tax IS in French, SCIS, SAS, SARL, or a foreign legal entity. Each solution obviously has its own pros and cons. It would be foolish to say that one structure is better than another. It's actually more about choosing the structure that best fits your situation and your wealth strategy. However, one warning: the idea of acquiring a French property with a foreign legal company is never a good idea, and we advise against it under any circumstances, even though it's a possibility. I invite you to watch our dedicated video if you are interested in this topic. Transmission. One aspect that many non-resident buyers overlook during their acquisition is in transmission to their children. It is indeed entirely possible and even recommended to initiate the transmission of one's wealth to their children from the acquisition of the property onwards, as France offers several tax planning opportunities that make this rather attractive. It is important to note that the earlier the transmission is planned, the more effective it will be in reducing the inheritance tax that will affect the heirs one day. It does not even cost more than the regular acquisition. It just requires some foresight and discussion with the notary before the purchase. It's also worth noting that in some cases, transferring shares of companies can be an interesting alternative. All the more reasons to carefully choose the acquisition structure. Capital gains upon resale. The capital gains upon resale are, of course, a point to consider, even though they may seem far off at the time of purchase. Indeed, the acquisition structure, the composition of the owners, as well as the potential renter of the property will have impacts on the capital gains upon resale. And it's preferable to know this before embarking on the adventure. There are three main regimes for calculating real estate capital gains in the cases of interest here: capital gains for individuals, capital gains for professionals, and capital gains for companies subject to corporate tax. Each calculation method is different and will not offer the same advantages, such as the holding period allowance flat rate acquisition and renovation costs, etc. Taxes and fees arising from ownership. Owning a property in France entails certain mandatory taxes regardless of the ownership mode. Property tax, residence tax for secondary residences, vacant housing tax if you are exempt from residence tax, contribution on rental income or the CFE tax if you rent out the property, real estate wealth tax, IFI, impôt sur la fortune immobilière, if your real estate assets in France exceed 1.3 million euro net of debt. Property tax and residence tax are certainties, and it will be nearly impossible to escape them. They are part of the gain when buying in France. However, there are ways to optimize and reduce all the taxes, especially the CFE and IFI. Feel free to contact us to learn more. Renting out your property in France, tax regime and consequences. Most non-residents who own a second home in France rent it out for a few weeks a year to offset the sometimes significant costs involved. However, renting out a property is not without consequences, as you might imagine. You absolutely must choose a tax regime and register as such. Then, declare this rental income first in France and then possibly in your home country as applicable. No need to worry. Tax treaties prevent any double taxation. Once again, the legal structure of your purchase will impact the taxation of your rental income. You can opt for revenu foncier, micro-BIC, or LMNP under the régime réel if you purchase in your name, but not if you own your property through a company. Each tax regime has its own accounting and tax obligations, but essentially, you'll need to keep annual account each year and declare the result, profit or loss, on a personal tax return. There are also depreciation considerations for the property that will affect taxation in France as well as in your home country if it does not recognize them. Complex? Yes, a little. Unmanageable? Not with the right advice, rest assured. The specific case of purchasing new property with recoverable VAT. I took the liberty of adding this final part to my video upon reviewing the outline because it seems important to highlight the specifics of purchasing new property with VAT recovery. Indeed, many buyers are attracted by the prospect of reclaiming VAT when purchasing their dream home in France, but it's essential not to forget that this comes with consequences. Reclaiming VAT at the time of purchase means collecting said VAT on rents for the following 20 years, along with accounting and tax obligation and the provision of para-hotel services. I do encourage you to watch our dedicated video on this case if you are interested. One very last point concerning property tax, which can be extended for 2 years if certain formalities are met. Always good to know, right? Conclusion. It's already time for us to part ways, and I haven't even had the chance to delve into a single topic properly. As you've gathered, the purpose of this video is simply to alert you guys to the various subjects to consider before purchasing property in France and their tax consequences. What makes the whole situation complex is that all these points are actually interconnected with each other. It's therefore crucial to take a step back and make the right decisions when making the purchase. Feel free to contact us. We'll be delighted to assist you with all these points when buying your house in France, and we can offer several optimization solutions to maximize the wealth created in the long run. Thank you very much, and see you soon on French Tax Online.